I've had this since, I want to say 99, maybe 2000, but I think 99. And a big thing I always held on to is, even if it's got like a little scratch, is my mom didn't have a lot of money for like, miscellaneous stuff like this, because she was like working 2 jobs, just trying to put food on the table. And, I had a lot of friends like at Catholic school who had both parents, that like, could like give them a big, like pretty big allowance. Like we'd go, to the mall and stuff like that, and they'd get like a bunch of packs at once. And I'd be like, I can maybe get one if I've saved up, maybe. But like, yeah, like that Christmas, like I think it was 99, my mom got me like a bunch of them, and this isn't one of them. She got me that, like a binder. It was like the coolest thing. And I was just like, I was so psyched. So I've had it ever since then. Even if it's gotten like damaged over time, like I'll never get rid of this thing.
So I'm Joshua Michael Beltran. I'm a research coordinator at the Center for Reducing Health Disparities. Asian, there's kind of no way around. I identify as Asian. I'm half Guyanese, half Filipino, so it kind of all roots back to the same spot. So when people ask me where I'm from, or like what I'm at, or what I am, it depends on who's asking. If I know it's someone I probably won't have an extended conversation with, nowadays I'll definitely say Filipino, and I'll say Indian just to sort of save time, because it's hard to explain. Because Guyana is located in South America, and then usually when I say that, I'm prefaced with, "Oh, are you of like, Latino descent?" I'm like, "No, it's like the West Indies. It's a whole thing." So usually, in a way to save time, I kind of short it to Indian, depending on person. I used to not even answer Filipino on stuff before, just because when I was growing up, people didn't know where the Philippines were either, like from like all the kids I went to school with. So. Ironically though, despite all that, we're a very American household. And a lot of it has to do with the way my parents were, because, so on one hand, if you look at it like on paper, I'm, first generation born in America. And there's a lot of stories that people think about when you say that, we're like, oh, you have immigrant parents. But the thing is, my parents immigrated when they were both like teenagers here. My favorite foods is probably McDonald's, only because there's a lot of nostalgia tied to it too, is because there's a lot of, it was like quick meals, or it's like my dad would take me like after we drop my mom off for work or pick her up from work or stuff like that. And then similarly, my mom's like, if she was like, working 2 jobs and we didn't have a lot of time, or if I had to be at like basketball or something, it was that. So there's like, I love it because it does taste good, but it also just has a lot of nostalgia for me. My mom's family's big, but we're really close knit, and it's something that I feel that like I'm very proud of, but sometimes it's hard to communicate to people who like didn't grow up that way, but also sometimes like other Americans that don't have it. Like my cousins are my best friends. I call them, some people say like they don't see their cousins for years or at reunions or stuff like that. But that's not how my mom's family is. Like my cousins are like my brothers, and we just hang out like normal, like tell each other everything. A lot of the values and a lot of the way that I was brought up, I definitely want to bring towards like next generation. Like I recently got engaged, and my fiance is from also like a big family too. So like I'm like I may have been an only child, but like I said, because I had a lot of cousins, I'm like I wanted a lot of kids. I want that. I want them to be part of it too. Like, and I really hope that, some of my cousins actually a lot of my cousins have had kids because of our age differences, but some of them that are closer to my age have had them too. And I'd like them to have the same like bonds and like roots that like we had growing up.